Hello, what's up good people? Good to see you once again. Ukishindwa kupanga 10k hata 100k hauwezani nayo. That's a fact. When I receive calls from a lot of people and tell me, hey, you know what Joseph, mimi nafikia nalipangwa pesa kidogo. That's why I cannot even manage to save. I cannot even manage to plan myself in something of sort. By the way, if you take statistics from a lot of people, they tend to believe like huwa wanalipwa pesa kidogo. That's why they cannot manage to save. But that is not the truth. Actually, today in this video, nitakupeleka polepole uelewe. If you cannot be able to manage 10k, even if ukupatiwa hata 100k, you still be poor at the end of the day. Alright? By the way, ushajiuliza in a situation whereby kuna time ulikuwa unalipangwa like 20k, then life was still hard, you're still broke, ukaongezewa ikafika 30, ikafika 40, saizi labda ni 100 or 120 or 300, but you still broke, the same character, you've carried yourself to the next level. You know what's happening? Tunaitanga changing the forest, but the monkey is still the same. Guess what? Today we are gonna change the monkey and actually instill that character yenye unafaa kufanya na venye unafaa kufanya, so that at least whenever unaongezewa kamshahara kidogo utakuja urealize like, oh wow, I think I can feel the effect now that nimeongezewa takadi 2,000 ama 3,000. Alright, so that is the today's topic and I don't want you to miss it. And by the way, as Team Lauren, I don't want you to miss any good of my future videos. Alright, and some of the statistics are telling me kuna watu ambao wanaoch videos zangu hapa hivi na they have not or they do not subscribe. Alright, by the way, take that 1 second. How do you do that? Just down there on the right there is a button written subscribe. It is in black. Just hit it, then it disappears magically. And then on the left there is a like button. Hit those two magical buttons. Guess what happens? You'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. Alright, so let's get to today's business. Is about if you cannot manage 10,000, then rest assured even 100,000 hauwezi manage. So unafaa kufanyaje? Kuna kitu moja unafaa kuelewa. A lot of people tend to think or believe that you can only manage to save a lot of money for you to start a business if only you're getting paid a lot of money. Here ni uongo. This is what you're supposed to do. Even if you have that small money, there's some of the characters that you're supposed to have in place for you to be able to proceed to the next level. Whenever I talk about budgeting your money, a lot of people tend to think like, okay, budgeting ya for the rich people, is for the people who are employed, ni watu ambao huwa wanafanya kwa ofisi. Mimi ni mtu wa jua kali, mimi ni fundi, mimi ni mtu wa mawe, mimi ni, you get the thing. You do all those kind of jobs and then you tend to believe like, okay, fine, I can only manage to budget my money I can only manage to budget my money if I'm employed or if I'm rich or something of sort. That is not the truth. This is the reality. Na nimekupea example when I was starting this video, nikakuuliza aje. Kuna time ulikuwa unalipangwa let's say 10k, 20k, 15k, labda ukianza kuwa employed, you are still broke. Saizi unalipwa maybe 100 or 200, you're still broke. Actually wewe una running broke at 21 ama 15. Wengine hata 16 they ran out of money and actually thinking of advance. Alright, so it's a thing that you're supposed to work on yourself than working on getting the money. You may think that you need to get more money to sustain your comfortable life, but the fact is this, I've always been telling you this, there is no way you can be able to make 30,000 or 100,000 and spend 100,000, or make 50,000 and spend the 50,000. You cannot be able to have that kind of a life. What happens is that you have to live below the means. If you live below the means, that means that you have a surplus. That surplus is what you take as a savings, not just savings. Remember one thing, you cannot save yourself to riches. So what you do with the surplus or the savings, you now transform that savings to a capital to start an investment to make you money to earn what we call a supplement or passive income to sustain or supplement that what you get as a conventional way of earning. All right, so if you cannot be able to sit down and figure out how you can be able to manage the 10,000, rest assured mambo itakuwa ngumu. Some of the calls who wanna receive from clients who wananiambia, hey, you know what Joseph, I'm paid 70,000 at the end of the month, rent yangu inakonga 26,000. Right there you feel like that's a red flag, because honestly, how can you be paid 70,000 and your rent is 25,000, others is 30,000, others is 35,000? Basically half of what you're earning you've directed it towards your rent. I've always been telling you one thing, make sure rent yako inachezea at least mimi yangu inachezeanga at most 20% or 25%. But the moment you realize that your rental income ama your rental money that you set aside for pay rent, it's beyond 30%, then rest assured you're doing the wrong thing. All right, what do I mean by that particular point? If you can sit down and calculate, you realize rent yako inakuwa imepita 30% of your total income, then rest assured it will be very hard for you to save. We say that your rent should always be below 30% of your total income. And actually if you want to do something in future and progress, ndio uweze kupata pesa uinvest, you're supposed to pay a rental income that is way below 30%. For me, at most why inachezeanga 20, 22, 23% around there, and I still feel not so comfortable. But if you have all all the links and you have all the money, not really all the money, but at least you have all the factors considered before settling to that, then that would be the most amazing thing. Kuna vitu tatu ambazo huwa Wakenya wengi huwa wanapoteza pesa nazo. Number one inakwanga ni rent. They just want to live good, but the fact remains where they are now in terms of income does not allow them to be at that kind of a level or that kind of a lifestyle, right? So you find like they pay a very hype or a very hyped kind of a rental income, or rather a rental wages, and then the other thing, they pay a lot of expenses in terms of schooling and something of sort. I know it's everyone's dream their kid to go to the best school, but the fact remains you can pay that school that it's so good, which is okay and amazing, and I love that. But the point is are you able to sustain that kind of a lifestyle? This is how I challenge you to see whether you can actually sustain your lifestyle. Right now, say you're employed, if you get fired for the next 3 months, can you sustain yourself? Can you eat? Can you drink? Can you do all those things that you do actually right now comfortably? If the answer is yes, then at least you're doing better thing. Then can you be able to do so in the next 6 months, or the next 1 year, or something of so? If the answer is no, then at the end of the day, that means that you have to do something with how you spend your money. Otherwise, if you don't, then you live to what we call the rat race. So kama hawezi manage your 10k, then rest assured, even if you pay 100k, you won't able to manage that specific money. So what are the recommendations for you to be able to sustain that? We usually say it is a habit. You start doing some things until you develop what we call a habit. Say you're being paid like that 10k. I don't expect you to pay a house rent worth like 4,000. Honestly speaking, that would be out of proportion. You have to live below your means, not within your means. If you want to grow yourself in the future, don't live within your means. Live below your means, all right? Live as if you don't have, but you have. I always tell people this challenge, all right? You'd rather live in a place whereby you seem as if you don't think but you do, rather than live in a place where you seem think but you don't. Those are two different things. But in most cases, you find people tend to make it look like, okay, fine, if I have some cash, I have to prove to you that I have it. And how do I do that? Getting myself a very expensive rental place. And number two, I get myself into loans like car loan or something. And this car that you're servicing your loan is not even an asset, it's a liability. If it's a car that maybe you do it for Ubering and such kind of a things, or deliveries and what have you, if it's on a business perspective, that's an amazing thing. But then if it doesn't earn you any income, then that's a liability and actually takes money out. Sometimes people don't understand. Liability is what takes your money out, and asset is what brings money in. That's what you're supposed to understand. So this is what I would like you to get. If you want to realize that there is a salary increment, sit down with a pen and paper. Ask yourself, how much do I dedicate for rent? How much do I get for food? How much or at what rate do I change like my clothing or the closet and what have you? How much do I get myself as an outing and what have you? Because I realize some of the people don't even have time to go out, and if they do, then they do not have money. So it's all about planning yourself. You're supposed to plan yourself, know exactly what goes where, and how exactly can you be able to manage exactly that. All right? So in a nutshell is this. Don't think like if maybe you paid 70,000 and you feel that amount of money is not enough for you. You feel like now I need to be added like 10,000 on top of 20,000 on top. At the end of the day, I am telling you the truth. You won't be able to actually realize anything that has been added on top of that salary. What you're supposed to do, get yourself a budget, plan yourself. And I always tell you, and I'll keep on telling you, and I'll forever repeat this point. Budget is telling your money where to go rather than wondering where it went. It doesn't make any sense you sit down with a pen and paper trying to figure out where your money went. Yeah, even if you successfully figure out where your money went, you've done nothing. What do you do for the next time so that you don't even sit down and actually try to do the same thing that you did last month? What you're supposed to do, you sit down with the pen and paper way before you get your money. Now you instruct your money. You're telling your money, now you know what, you 10,000 go pay my rent. Hey, you 15,000 go buy food and what have you. You 5,000 go for the black tax. You 5,000 go for my emergency fund. You 2,000 go for my servicing of loan and what have you. So you're instructing that money. You know one thing, money is more spiritual than physical that people think. That's the reality. You find people talk about money is just a thing out there. Money is more spiritual than you actually think. So what I would advise you to do exactly, make sure that you have yourself a budget, make sure that you have yourself a plan that will instruct you, that will direct you on how you're supposed to use your money. Right now, take a pen and paper, write somewhere down that you have to have a plan, you have to have what we call a budget, so that you don't get yourself in these circles of actually what we call the rat race. Rat race is like you just running round and round and actually living from hand to mouth. Literally means that if today you get fired, then everything is halted in your house. And this one I was actually witnessed during the COVID-19 era, whereby the COVID-19 hit and almost everybody got fired. Those people who are employed and then they were fired, then there were no salaries and what have you. Those are the people who are actually confused out there. So you're gonna do something before that day comes. You never know. And I always tell people, get yourself some emergency fund somewhere, get yourself some investment that can earn you a passive income. You never know. A BS happens. This is life, and the most predictable thing about life is its unpredictability, and that's how we live it. So we only do control the controllables and leave the rest that you cannot be able to control to God, and everything will be fall into place. Anyway, you're out there, you get your cash and you're still confused. You don't even know exactly. Okay, fine, Joseph, I got some money, but I don't know what business I can start. You know what? This is the end of that confusion. This is what you're supposed to do. Get my number from the description of this specific video. You get yourself some of the best books that I've written about business plans, business ideas, and all those other possible investments like shares, money market fund, treasury bills, and what have you. So get a copy for yourself. It's only $220. Guess what that does? Solve all that confusion that you might be having out there as far as the investments are concerned. So for now, it's a goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe. And by the way, my name is Joseph. Talk about money and anything related to that. If that's cup of your coffee, and I bet you should be, I mean, seriously, who doesn't love money? Then consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and as well, see you in the next one.